The Titan Arum is the world's smelliest bloom. It smells like a cadaver, or in the event that you lean toward a more explicit portrayal, a deplorable combo of cheddar, dead rodent and spoiling fish. So what made the Eden Project an instructive foundation and guest fascination situated in the United Kingdom? Think it was a smart thought to make an aroma to emulate this horrible scent. The bunch advertised the appropriately named odor Titan to men who needed to take their fragrance to an intense and totally new heading. As indicated by a representative, the unmistakable scent pulls in bugs splendidly, so it makes sense it should chip away at individuals as well. Does this mean they caused a scent to make men to pull in bugs to themselves? Little marvel it never got on. Would you like to possess an aroma like a dish of warm sushi? In the event that indeed, you ought to consider getting yourself the suitably named Sushi Cologne by Demeter Fragrance. The scent smells much the same as sushi. Before you start to ask why a typical individual will need to possess a scent like a fish, we should add that the aroma really resembles rice and kelp seasoned with a touch of ginger and lemon. And not crude fish too. Demeter Fragrance's Sushi Cologne doesn't possess a scent like crude fish, since sushi isn't crude fish. Sushi is a rice dish seasoned with vinegar and finished off with crude fish. Rice enhanced with vinegar, however, not finished off with crude fish, isn't sushi. Nor is crude fish without the vinegar-seasoned rice. Crude fish alone is sashimi. Regardless of this clarification, we will be unable to discover any individual who needs to resemble vinegar-enhanced rice. A couple of months prior, the British online vehicle exchanging site Auto Trader dispatched a fragrance that scents like another vehicle. Auto Trader said it made the appropriately named odor new car after a study uncovered 1/4 of people connected the fragrance of another vehicle with progress. Little miracle, it depicted it as achievement in a bottle. Odor new car smells like the first calf skin and hard wax utilized in premium vehicles. Auto Trader asserted it delivered it to reproduce the powerful feeling of the main excursion in another vehicle. This definition is an off, considering the scent is planned for people and not vehicles. Who needs to resemble another vehicle? Nobody. As they later discovered out, Auto Trader used to sell the scent on their site. A 50 ml container went for £175. Be that as it may, they have taken it off their site. While they have not uncovered why we get it is because of helpless deals. They ought to likely rebrand it as a deodorizer for vehicle proprietors, all things considered. They will make more deals. What do comets smell like? You should get a whiff of the aroma company's Odor 67P to discover. Perfumologists at the British Perfumer made the aroma to impersonate the fragrance of Comet 67P, Churyumov Gerasimenko. Unfortunately for fragrance authorities, this is an erratic aroma extraordinarily made for the European Space Agency. The European Space Agency dispatched the aroma in the wake of endeavoring an arrival on the comet in 2014. The Philly lander didn't arrive on the comet as arranged and just skipped off its surface, all things considered. In any case, it actually proceeded to finish 4/5 of its main goal. That included deciding the synthesis of the minerals in the comet. This was what the European Space Agency used to figure out what it possessed a scent like. Discussing smell, the comet contains alkali, methane and sulfur dioxide, demonstrating it smells like spoiled eggs blended in with severe almond and feline pea. This is the thing that Odor 67P scents like. On the off chance that you need to possess a scent like old or newly printed books, Perfumers got you covered. Allow us to begin with old books. The wonderful, nostalgic smell of old books is the consequence of the presence of lignin, one of the significant mixes found in the wood mash used to make paper. Books discharge lignin as they age, causing the popular old book smell. Dead Writer's fragrance by Sweet Tea Pharmacists is designed according to this aroma. Sweet Tea Pharmacists chose the name Dead Writers, since they accept the writer of the old book anybody might be attempting to memory should be dead at this point. That's stated. Anybody ready to purchase the aroma of a book composed by a living writer, or to think about Christopher Brodius's Paper Passions, which retails for $200. In the event that you truly love the scent of another book however don't have any desire to spend that much cash on a fragrance, at that point perhaps you should simply purchase another book, all things considered. It is a two-in-one arrangement. You make the most of your number one aroma and furthermore get something to peruse. Do you recollect that new, wonderful and loosening up aroma you smell after a downpour? That is petrichor. Petrichor structures when weighty raindrops hit the ground, making the dirt delivery a few synthetic compounds from the dirt. Those synthetic substances are liable for the popular downpour smell, in case you need to possess an aroma like precipitation. Demeter, the very organization that delivered that sushi scent, has got you covered with their thunderstorm fragrance. As indicated by an analyst, thunderstorm has a decent aroma yet doesn't adhere well to the body. Regardless of whether that is a fortunate or unfortunate thing relies upon the individuals around the wearer. Demise is difficult. Nobody wishes to lose a friend or family member, yet it is inescapable. That is the pattern of life. In any case, Cartier Appelatiguë, a French perfumer, has found an approach to keep individuals' fragrance alive long after they are no more. She bundles that fragrance in an aroma she calls odor death. Odor death doesn't have a restrictive aroma like each other scent we have referenced up until now. Each container is created to copy the fragrance of the perished. Cartier makes the fragrance in a two-venture measure. She first concentrates atoms from the garments of the dead individual and afterward imitates the compound arrangement of those particles to reproduce that individual's scent. Cartier was motivated to make the aroma in the wake of finding her mother kept her late dad's pillowcase to recall his fragrance. She went through years looking for an answer until she teamed up with Harvard University physicist Geraldine Salery to build up a technique for extricating atoms from garments. A solitary container cost $600. In 2013, the United Kingdom Federation of Bakers delivered a fragrance that scents like toast. They didn't put the aroma available to be purchased yet sent it to a few models who went to the London Fashion Week that year. The fragrance demonstrated mainstream among the models who got each accessible sample, while the exchange affiliation says it might reproduce another group as a component of an advertising effort later on. There is little probability that it will actually out it available to be purchased. It authorized the scents as a component of its slice of life mission to debilitate individuals, particularly ladies, from skipping breakfast and urging them to eat bread each day. We realize you may not accept this yet. NASA utilizes a counterfeit aroma to acquaint space explorers in preparing with the smell of room. NASA didn't make the scent itself, however contracted Steve Pearce, the organizer of the UK-based Omega Ingredients for the employment in 2008. Pearce went through the following 4 years creating and idealizing the fragrance for NASA. In case you are asking why an fixing organization is making aromas for a space office, we should add that Omega Ingredients makes fragrances for the food business. A couple of years back, it took things somewhat further by delivering the fragrance as a scent it calls Odor Space. Up next is the unavoidable issue. What does odor space, and space itself, smell like? There is no real way to discover on the grounds that Omega Ingredients isn't talking. 10. It just said the aroma depended on a mystery retired recipe dependent on confirmed Space Explorer accounts. Be that as it may, we may have an idea. Don Pettit, who once filled in as a science official on the International Space Station, said space has a sweet metallic fragrance, similar to sweet welding exhaust. Different space explorers have compared the aroma to various things including sulfur, from black powder, consumed meat and raspberries. A couple of years back, 3 Australian craftsmen teamed up with their aroma to reproduce a fragrance that scents like a recently opened Apple MacBook Pro. They dispatched an unopened MacBook Pro to Air Aroma's office in France. Air Aroma opened and broke down the materials used to make the bundle and utilized it to reproduce the fragrance. From that point, they sent the finished aroma on MacBook Professional back to Australia. Thankfully, the scent is definitely not an official Apple item, so nobody will charge you $1,000 for a 50 ml container. Nonetheless, any individual who needs to smell a recently opened MacBook Pro should purchase a genuine MacBook Pro, which costs over $1,000, on the grounds that the craftsmen don't plan to smell the aroma. They just made it for a presentation they coordinated in Melbourne, Australia.